it visible at that side?
Yep, I see you fine.
Okay, great then.
Can everyone else see her? Anyone else? If you notice anything that there's an issue, just let us know so that we can figure it out right away. So I see a few people watching. So yay, we got it to work. Woohoo! So what time is it for you?
Yeah. Oh, it's 7:15 a.m. in the morning, 4th of April.
Okay, so yeah, I said 6:30. I wasn't that far off. I knew it was really, really early in the morning in the morning for you. So thank you so much for coming on so early in the morning.
That's okay. Yes.
All right.
And I guess that's nearly 10.
Yes. Yep. It's about 12 to 10. So well, let's get started so that we can get everyone, all this great stuff that you're going to be sharing, and we can go on from there. So again, if there's any questions,
Sure.
feel free at the end of it to ask questions. We'll ask questions during, and then at the end we can go back and answer whatever questions you have. So all right, let's begin. And is it Shika? Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Shikha Saboo is a young, empathetic, and enthusiastic altruistic counselor and guide. She had her spiritual awakening in 2017, and since then, she never looked back. She loves to work with children, young adults, and women to bring about change in their mindsets so they can work towards achieving desired results in their lives. She is a career counselor and globally certified practitioner of the law of attraction. Her major focus is on working with women who are disheartened and lost due to toxic relationships and guide them to bring about change in their lives. You can connect with her on our Facebook page, and so we listed also the places that you can connect with her. So I'm really excited, Chika, for you to be here and to share your knowledge with us. I mean, to be a globally renowned, certified, practitioner of the law of attraction, that's a pretty major thing. So tell us what got you interested in doing what you do.
Well, Stephanie, I started my life at a very young age. Life hasn't been like I got married at the age of 21. It was very quick for Indian stereotypes and here, but I ended up having a love marriage which didn't work out well, and I came back my home, which is my parents' home, when I was 7 months pregnant. I
Mm-hmm.
had a beautiful child there, and she's still with me. She's here. So slowly, when I was going through that rough patch, that is we are here to discuss about, especially the toxic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that toxic marriage. There was nobody to support me or put me back on track. Here, the social norms were so difficult for me to cope up alone. Wherein, like a divorced lady, a single mother, this was something which people did not accept. They haven't accepted yet,
Mm-hmm.
but creating someone out of this background, being someone, I came to this understanding that there are many other ladies who have been going through toxic relationships, and just they shouldn't be going through what I have gone through to come up alone, be alone in the society, a male dominated society to be specific. That's where I came to an understanding that yes, there are other ladies who need support. So if I did not get any support, that doesn't mean they shouldn't get any. So therein, like, I started looking for growth, self development, and understanding how I can be a support for others. So
And
therein
that's
I came across with the, I'm sorry.
Oh no, well, it's wonderful to be the light for someone else, to have overcome your own darkness and be the light for someone else is just such a powerful tool.
Yes. So that's how I came in to knowledge about law of attraction. Then I also was studying further. I got my graduations, post graduations degree along with. I raised my child now. She's 6 years old,
Oh.
and yep, I'm doing pretty well for now, and I hope to do well. And I really thank God, and I really thank Him that He has given this opportunity wherein I can go and speak about it to a lot of people here.
Now, in India, is it more taboo to get a divorce?
Oh no, absolutely not. It's a cliche wherein like you have to be uh, with the family. May what happened, the husband is your, like, sometimes husband treats you like a owner, and he'll treat you the way he wants, and then the ladies, they have to suffer and they have to listen to it. there is a very uh, difficult time for a lady to get married and have such type of family if she gets such type of family. I won't say everybody is the same, but yes, now there are plus and minus points about getting married.
Mm. So do you think that people are less supportive of people getting a divorce because they feel like you're like does it is it more difficult to actually follow through with a divorce because you feel like people might not be accepting that like you've done something wrong by saying you want a divorce?
Absolutely, they always treat it as it's the lady who is at fault, the women's fault. They will
Mm-hmm.
never take into consideration that the husband had done something wrong to her, even if they know the fact, even if they are sure about it, they are aware about it, but it is the woman who has to suffer at the end.
Mm-hmm. And that's interesting. And anyone who's watching, you know, it's interesting how culturally it's so different but still so similar because there's a lot of things in the United States that kind of still treat women that way, like it's our fault that he treated us badly. You know, I used to think all the time, what can I do differently? What can I change to make him happy, to not behave this way, to not be angry with me? And those were all the things I thought. So it's so interesting how it is such a different culture, but it's the same thing. It seems to be the blame on the woman, and that, you know, that she did something wrong, she asked for it, she deserved to be treated badly.
Yes, I'm even surprised to know this, that even in America it's the same thing.
Yep. And you wouldn't. America likes to think it's so ahead, and it's not. You know, in that sense. And I think most women could jump on and say, "Hey, you know, there's a lot of pluses that have happened, but there's some things that we're still in the dark ages where you know, it's amazing to me that, you know, women are not in the same playing field when it comes to being allowed to be their best versions of themselves. It seems like it's much more. There's still this feeling of second class, like that there's something wrong with us. I mean, it goes the same with like rape culture. Well, what did the woman do to deserve to be raped? Well,
Hmm.
nothing. It was the man, you know, it was the perpetrator. But there's still something, you know, wherever, that it's the woman's fault that that happened, and it's awful.
Yep, I understand that completely, because in India also we have the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. So what are some of the tips? I know you wanted to share some tips with us. So what are some of the tips that you have to, you know, help our community move forward and get to be in a place where they're happy and able to be self-sufficient and feel good about themselves again?
Yeah, sure. So first thing, what I had understood about a toxic relationship is that it is nothing much like a disaster. It's like an event, an unfortunate event in your life which has just come. It just started with a spark. So I would just give a small example wherein, like, I always consider any toxic relationship is just like a tsunami. So an earthquake causes that tsunamis to rise up in the sea, which hits on the beaches and other parts or other borders of the land. But it is just a temporary phase wherein, like, the waves will hit hard, and after that you have to rebuild whatever is lost. There is a loss of life, property, and everything. Even in relationships it's the same thing. Herein you don't lose lives, because it's going to be then the suicidal tendencies, or somebody tries to kill you. That's a very uh, brutal to do something in a relationship. But even if you are in a toxic relationship, I think that it is just like a disaster, and you have to manage yourself, and you have to um, be prepared to hold on to something till the time passes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be very happy to share some of the tips wherein, like, I have just figured it out for myself, and I've also suggested many ladies here. The first and most important thing is that you have to understand this thing, that it is not your fault. If somebody is treating you like shit, like a piece of like an object, wherein, like, he can come and he can be whatever he wants to be, cruel or mentally abusive, or he's calling names, it's not your fault. So it's very important that you never look into yourself the way he is treating you. The moment you start looking at yourself the way he has been treating you, it's the phase wherein you start falling down. You lose your self confidence, you lose the focus in life, you lose your self worth. And the moment you start losing it, that is the end, because it will be very hard for you to come out of it. Many ladies who don't have the courage to come out, or who don't have the support to come out of it, they,
Oh.
so the first and most important tip is that always and always be around somebody who is there to support you, who is there to understand you, who is there to tell you that yes, you are loved, you deserve to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you have that approach, you have that mindset, you cannot be out of the toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be a twirl, it will be just a continuous process, a vicious cycle which you can never break.
And I love that, because that's one of the things, we talk about that in our healing group too, is that having your support group, making sure that you have the people that can be there for you and that are not going to feed you unhealthy information. Because sometimes people will say, oh, just deal with it. Oh, that's normal in a relationship. All relationships have up and down. You have to deal with it. You have to talk it through. And they're not living your life. So they don't know what it's like and what you're trying to experience. So when people try thinking that they're giving good information, they might actually just be trying to like get you back in this really bad relationship, not knowing that it could be deadly depending on what type of like what's going on at home.
Yes, absolutely. So when you say that every relationship has its ups and downs, but there has to be a line to it, because if your partner is not doing well in career, or if he's got some mental issues, family issues, or financial issues, you are his life partner. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be of that important. You are not beneath him, you are not above him, you are equal to him. So if
Mm-hmm.
he has issues, you are his biggest support system. And if
Mm-hmm.
he is not treating you well, I don't think so there is any other reason which is left wherein you have to hold on to that relationship. Maybe you can try to talk it out, or maybe you can try to work out for some time. But if it's the vicious cycle which we cannot break, then I don't think so that any lady deserves to be in that kind of a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because it is a reciprocal cycle then. If
Yeah.
you are treated badly, if you are treated very insultingly, you start reciprocating it on your other relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel that kids are the one who suffer the most when they are into this toxic relationships of parents. They
Agreed.
are the ones who go through it, they are the ones who see them as their examples, and if this kind of example is set, they have a rough future, which is what I think. I
Mm-hmm.
studied this in my psychology as well when I was pursuing my master's in psychology, wherein I understood that your mindsets, your belief systems are not just developed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You are born like a clean slate, and the values, the things you see around you as a child while you grow, those are the things which become your firm mindsets in your future.
Yeah.
So kids are the ones who get the most of the bad stuff which happens across in the house, in the family. And it's a reciprocal system. So it doesn't affect just your kids, your work. um, Ladies especially, like I wasn't able to get out of the house for nearly 1.5 year. I was so scared to even go and speak with somebody, because I had that person will also treat me the way my husband is treating me. So this is the mindset that starts pulling you off the society, the people out there. And it's not that everybody is bad, and because of you you're just breaking out the connection with the people,
Mm-hmm.
you miss the support.
And I love that, because it's so true. For myself, I know that I would never be able to do what I do now in helping other people, because I wouldn't have the energy. I was so focused on trying to make other people happy that I would have never had the energy to be above and beyond, to be able to, share anything with anyone, because I was, when it takes away your energy. So you're actually, and I say this all the time too, it actually takes away, it's a disservice to the world, because you're not able to be your best version of yourself, because you're just trying to deal with what's right next to you, what's in front of you, and then you can't show gratitude. You go out, you leave the house, and you're afraid, you're uncomfortable, you don't want to be yourself, you kind of get into your shell, and you don't share any of your gifts because you're so afraid to share them, because you're afraid, because your self-esteem has been so put down, you don't feel good about yourself, your confidence is gone. So yeah, it just extends so much past the two people that are in that romantic relationship. And like you said, the children, it's such a big deal. That's the growth. That's what's going to continue the cycle. The kids see it, and they're going to grow up, and they're going to find toxic relationships, and then the cycle continues. So someone has to stop it at some point.
Yes, absolutely true. Because even when we talk about law of attraction, which is my niche, so it's the same thing. It works on a very simple formula, that is, what you are, you will attract the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go out and you say that I'm getting it, because you have developed that mindset inside you, so you have to break that mindset. You have to change your approach. You have to understand that you are worth it. You
Mm-hmm.
are, you deserve it. You are deserving. You are loving nature from inside. God has not created you to be in a bad relationship, or he is not here to teach you to hate. He's here to love you. He created you to love, uh,
Mm-hmm.
be compassionate. But if you have had one or the other experience wherein like you are not able to come out of it, then you will never be able to pass it on to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you say that you leave a legacy in business, you also leave a legacy in your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The children, they will just watch you and they will follow you. They will not question you. They will not understand this thing, that this is right or this is wrong, because they see you as mother and father
Mm-hmm.
who brought them in this life.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that once you start focusing on yourself, you are full of love, and then you can pour out love. If you are empty inside, you cannot just go and doing things for others without even feeling that emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
You need to feel it inside so that you can pour it outside, is what I really and strongly believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Self-care is so important. We're taught so often that as women we have to take care of everybody else, but in reality we have to take care of ourselves, and then pour, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to make sure that you're filled yourself,
Yes.
whether, no matter what it's from. I want to add to one of the things that you said before about, God didn't put you here to suffer, and I think that that is really, really important. And I don't care what religious background you are, and any of that, but when I got married, the last thing I wanted to do was get a divorce. And I thought, we got married. I went to church every Sunday as a kid. Going to church and was very important. Getting married was a big deal. And I did not want to be someone who got a divorce, because that to me was just sounded like I'd given up. And there was a part of me that stayed longer, because I said, I made these vows in front of all my family and friends and in front of God, and that I would stay married, through thick and thin, and
Yes.
support. So I feel like I was doing the wrong thing and letting my husband down, because I was supposed to be with him no matter what, through sickness and in health, no matter what was going on. And the reality is that you do not have to be with someone that is treating you badly. And like you said, God would not want you to suffer in that bad relationship and allow someone to treat you bad, because the love, that's not what love is. Love is not hurtful and painful, and love doesn't hurt. It is not this uncomfortable feeling. It should be calm and safety, not scaring and trying to escape from.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So here I would also add few points about expectations. So whenever somebody is into a toxic relationship, or maybe the person who is just come out of a toxic relationship, the
Mm-hmm.
person starts expecting few things from others. Because these things are lacking inside, we start looking for things outside.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing, again, we come to this point, is the self-love, self-care, self-worth. So we start looking for love, care, respect from others. But the fact is that you have stopped loving yourself, respecting yourself, because of the abusive relationship you have had, because of the treatment of your that partner who had actually make you feel that you are not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start expecting these things from others, it's not going to lead you anywhere. In fact, you will become like a puppet for others,
Mm-hmm.
wherein like your partner is saying to stand up and sit down. This is a very silly example, but it happens. I have seen it, it's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happens because you are being treated like this, you attract the same kind of treatment from others, your kids, your family, your colleagues, your peers, your workplace, your social group, be anywhere. You have that feeling from inside that yes, I'm a puppet and I have to dance to their tunes.
Yeah. And I love that example because that's exactly what it feels like after a while. Like, because again, you're walking on eggshells. You don't want to make them mad, so you're just kind of doing whatever you're told, and that's not a relationship.
Yes.
So, what are some of the other tips that you wanted to share?
So the first and most important thing is that to get a support system, you need to get somebody to talk to you. Find that one person who is there for you, to hear you out, not just to, because once you are into a divorce, or when you are in this kind of relationship, you don't have that confidence. So I have found many people out there who start giving you a kind of lecture, a philosophical lecture, wherein like this will pass on and you have to just wait, time will heal everything. But people don't really understand this, or I would rather say they fail to understand this, that this person who has been into this relationship for some time is not in that state to understand that this time will pass. The person needs emotional support, wherein you have to listen to that person, what the person is going through, and just not talk about that situation, but there are other things to talk about. So find that person wherein like you can confide in him or her and share out your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I would say that get a hobby. It's a very small thing, but it is a very important thing, because once you are creative, you actually start at there is a creative energy working inside you.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbies are always creative. They cannot be something wherein like you are just going and you are learning from someone, be it dance, be it drawing, sketching, painting, be it anything, be it even blogging. But there is some kind of a creative energy inside you that starts working and it really gives you a very very good result in a very short time. So get
Mm-hmm.
a hobby, any kind
Yes.
of hobby. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can just go into your past and look for something which you really liked when you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
That will really help you love yourself more, because that was something you really loved to do when you were a kid. So that feeling, when that happiness that you would find when you did it as a kid, you will get that back when you do it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agree. Totally love that.
Yes, and also, if it is very hard, difficult, very hard for you, get some professional help. We are here, Stephanie is here. There are many people out there, many ladies especially, who have been through these things. I would suggest you should rather go and talk to them, get some professional support from them, because the ones who have already stepped into your shoe will be able to help you better than those who have not been in your shoe.
Yes. Yes.
So and first, I would also add, please do not be ashamed of what you have been through,
Mm-hmm.
because unless you accept yourself that yes, this has happened to me, or I have been through this period for some time, or this was my personal life for some time, or uh, I personally had a very special place or a priority in my life to have a very good married life, but it didn't work out for me, so that broke me, that literally shattered me into pieces. It took me, you can say, like 4 5 years to even talk about it comfortably with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's been 7 years. I am been out of my marriage, and for past 2 to 3 years, I'm very comfortable telling people that yes, I am divorced. Yes, I am a single mother. Yes, I have started living my life on my own terms. I'm not a puppet of anybody anymore.
Good.
So please don't be ashamed of it. Please go and talk about it. Please
Mm-hmm.
don't think what the front person is going to make an image about yourself, that oh, this lady has had this thing or she has suffered from this XYZ incident. But please don't think about it. People are there. People are very loving, understanding. Maybe you have found some people who have not been that supportive, and that is the reason you are not that comfortable or you're afraid to go out and speak. And if that is the situation, then professional support is the best option for you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, start investing in yourself by doing some kind of exercises, because when you start that to see the change on your physical appearance, it automatically impacts you from inside.
Mm-hmm.
My best physical change tip will be a haircut. Whenever I feel low, whenever I want to see some change in my life, I just go and get a haircut. So these are very small things, but they really create wonderful impacts on your life. You will notice it once you do it. So getting a haircut, getting a hobby, getting enrolled into some kind of gym, yoga, dance, it will bring about changes in you slowly, but they will definitely bring about big impacts on your life.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say it's kind of funny that you're talking about self care and exercise. And actually, Jordan just popped on, who is a yoga instructor, as you said that. And that just happened to just give a plug to Jordan. That was really funny
Hey,
how that
Jordan.
do that on purpose. But those are great. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this ahead of time, and those are tips that I share all the time, and that obviously you share with your clients as well. And that's really what's so important, is to know that sharing your weakest moments, your darkest hour, when you share that, it gives other people the opportunity to share it as well. And then none of us have had
Yes.
perfect. There's everyone has had some kind of struggle, and when you are comfortable enough to share what your struggle has been, that opens it up and allows the heart connection with another human being that's just so magical. The people that have come up to me, and even meeting you and everyone that I get to meet because of sharing the story and allowing people a platform to share what they've experienced to help others, is just so beautiful to watch that connection from all over the other side of the world, from the another part of the country, and sometimes big age difference, whatever it is, but there is that connection when we open up and share ourselves. And so I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all of these wonderful tips with everyone. If anyone is excited to follow you, how can they do that?
So I have two pages on Facebook by the name. First one is Mind Tricks, which is that platform is just created to have a great career in life. It's not just for students; it's for anybody who is looking for a career change or a career growth. So that is a career coaching page which I have. And the second one is I am Shikha Saboo, which I created to share my personal growth when I was going through this phase. I have also created a group which is specially focused for the ladies who are into toxic relationships and who want to come out of it. So I've created it as a rehab center. So when I just had to go across to that rehab technique, so when a person is into a drug use, so he gets in all the toxins of the substance use and everything, and during rehab he's cleansed, and then he tries to be sober forever.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when you are in a toxic relationship, I believe that we get into that all the toxins and the drugs inside us, and
Mm-hmm.
to flush it out and to be sober and have a good happy life, I've created it as a relationship rehab group. So it's by the name Retrieve and Rebuild. So you can find me on that. You can find me on my Facebook page, and I would be coming up with many other details and about courses and tips. I'll be sharing them on my page, so you guys can connect with me on that.
All
And
right.
I would
Well,
really take this opportunity to tell everybody that please, please, please get the support system.
yes.
It's very important. We are here to support you. There are many people out there to support you. You're not alone.
Mhm.
You're there, you have that love, and it is inside you. You just need to find it out.
Mhm.
It's nothing is lost. Nothing is lost.
Nope. Today is a perfect day to create the life that you want. It's always the perfect
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
So
Every moment is a perfect time, and you just need to decide it.
exactly. So there was a few questions and I just wanted to go back and share. It's funny because I was thinking it the whole time you were talking, but I didn't want to disrupt you. Someone wrote that they really loved your analogy of the tsunami for toxic relationships. And I agree. I think that it's so true because I had this vision when you said tsunami of like something happening far away that no one can see and then how it affects so much more. I mean, that was such a perfect example. So it seems like that, that resonated for a lot of people. And then someone wrote, I'm feeling that right now. I'm working so hard to make everyone happy. I feel so depleted. So, it sounds like,
Yeah.
it's trying to please everybody else and not feeling like they have enough energy to do that. I don't know if you want to add to that at all.
I could just give a small tip for the people who are going through this feeling right now, wherein like they are into this position, they are doing everything for others, but they are not able to do anything for themselves. They can
Mm-hmm.
just make out 2 minutes of their life every morning and start it with closing your eyes and focusing on each and every nerve cell of your body
Mm-hmm.
and fill it with green color. Once it is completely green from top to bottom, you can just change it to the blue color. So this green color, blue color, and after that you can also add in blue or yellow color. So green color is something which is for love, which will fill you with love from within. It will give you that peace, the feeling of compassion. And yellow color will change your mood. It will fill you with energy, and it will also add into your um, emotion intelligence, emotional stability. And blue color will again fill you with some creativity so that you can get some creative activities in your life. So that will start creating impact slowly. You just need to give 2 minutes when you wake up in the morning.
That's great. Thank you so much. And that sounds like someone else is watching, Ramona. It sounds like that will be helpful for you as well. Let us know if that is something that resonates for
Yes.
you. I mean, meditation is huge, and to be able to meditate on the colors. I mean, that there's so much research with colors in helping, with different traumas or different issues that have come up. So thank you. That is wonderful. Are there any other questions while we are here? Because I want to make sure that every question is answered. And also, of course, as always, if you're watching this as a recording, we will come back and we will answer whatever questions. And Shikha's just starting her day. I'm going to bed, so I probably will not answer any questions tonight. But, if you want to answer questions and go back to make sure everyone's got a clear, all their answers are cleared up, feel free to do that as well. So do not think that you missed out because you didn't get us live. I understand for some people it's late or early for some people. So feel free to ask questions and we will definitely go back and answer them. So I don't see any other
Yep.
questions. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to figure it out. And thank you for being our first your first Facebook Live, coming on and hanging out with us for your first Facebook Live with another person. So thank you so much for figuring it out. Because I know sometimes it's so frustrating when it's your first time and you're like, come on, just work it. And it's not always easy. So thank you for
No, it yes, it was a wonderful opportunity.
oh, and look at that. The weird timing. We were saying goodbye and she got cut off. So, again, thank you everybody so much for coming on. Um, Oh, so Mariah said, "Do you believe that God, higher power, with people in our lives?" Um, that might have been it, and of course, I will let her answer as well. But for me, everyone that comes into our life has a purpose. Every experience that you've had, and if something is a bad experience, it doesn't mean that you need to stay in that bad experience. Learn the lesson. Some of the hardest lessons I've had were from teachers that were not easy. It was not a fun lesson. And those were some of the biggest ones that I had. And I am very appreciative for all of the teachers, all of the lessons that I've had. So do I think we all come into each other's lives for a reason? Heck yeah. Even that person that you might have walked by on the street, even the person that you drove by today and, kind of felt a little frustrated with, or, when you're taking a class or you take a different way to wherever it is that you normally go and you happen to see someone. There's a reason why you saw each other. And if you start looking at that, and you start realizing that everyone is here for each other, it starts to really change your mindset and starts to really change the way you look at things. It's really much easier to get out of the victim mindset and to be much more empowered knowing that that was there for a lesson, but you don't have to stay trapped there. So I hope that helps answers that question. And how are we supposed to? Well, it's because you're allowing. If you ever take a yoga class, they call it the yoga flow. And if Jordan is still on, maybe Jordan can say something about that. But if the yoga flow is about getting into that uncomfortable position, holding it, knowing it will pass, breathing through, and then knowing that you're gonna move on to something else afterwards. And that's life. There are people that are gonna come into your life, they're gonna teach you a lesson, and then they're out. And if we try to hold on to that person that was supposed to be out, it was supposed to be part of the flow of being gone, then that's where the damage starts to really happen. So that need to control, to fix, to, do something for someone else and make them into what we want, that's not the flow. That's not natural. And that's why it doesn't feel comfortable. That's why it doesn't work out. So, in order to be in the flow of life, you want to make sure that you learn, you look, and it just like, you glance at it, oh, it's beautiful, or it's difficult, this was a frustrating lesson. Just observe and then allow it to continue. Sometimes it's someone who's going to be around for a long time, and sometimes it's someone there that's just going to be there for a short period of time to teach you a lesson. Those lessons, if we look back and we start looking at the theme, the universe will give us lessons over and over and over again in different forms until we figure it out. And if you're anything like me, I liked to do the same lesson over and over again. It was like getting beat in the head until I finally was like, oh, okay, let's not do that one again. And once I finally figured out what the lesson was, what the teachers were trying to teach me, I finally figured it out and was able to change the cycle. All right, you're welcome, Mariah. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Feel free to, leave us any comments. We'll respond to anything that we didn't get to answer during the live. Have a wonderful night, and remember, you're way stronger than you realize.